So good afternoon, Judge. Thank you so much for joining us. As you know, we're having a Latinas in the Law segment through the Broward County Bar Association, and it's my honor to have the opportunity to interview you, learn a little bit about you, and make sure that our members know about you, and as well as all the other bar associations throughout the state.
Well, thank you for having me, Catalina.
If you could tell us a little bit about yourself. First of all, where do you sit as a judge?
Well, thank you. I am currently a circuit court judge here in the Ninth Judicial Circuit. And I was just elevated by the Governor Ron DeSantis. I served for 4 years as a county court judge.
And congratulations on that, because, and I understand the Ninth Circuit is both Orange and Osceola, right?
Yes,
County.
yes.
And I think you were telling me earlier today that Orange County is about 40% Hispanic and Osceola County is about 60% Hispanic. And you are the first Hispanic female judge in Orange County to be elected to the county seat and then subsequently elevated to the circuit court seat. Is that correct?
Yes, a huge honor. I was so proud to be able to represent, our heritage in, both being the first to be elected for the county court judge here in Orange County, and now the first to be appointed by any governor to sit as the first female Latina in the Ninth Circuit.
I'm gonna give some kudos to Governor DeSantis for a great selection, because as a Latina in the law myself, it makes me very proud to see you representing not only the Hispanic community, but women in the legal field, and certainly Hispanics in Orange County. How many Hispanic judges are in Orange County or in the 9th district?
So in the Ninth Circuit, we have 4 Hispanic judges.
And that's now in total.
In total.
Okay. So we need some more qualified Hispanic candidates to be applying either through the bench or through appointment process to make sure that we get some diversity on that bench.
Yes, definitely. We definitely need more.
How many total judges are there in the 9th Circuit?
68.
Okay, so whoever, to our young and inspiring judges, let's make sure that they're out there knowing that they too can aspire, like Judge Laurent, to make it to not only the county court bench, but also the circuit court bench. So tell us a little bit about your background. What made you want to be a judge? And tell us a little bit about your Hispanic heritage.
So my parents are both from the Dominican Republic, and they immigrated to New York when they were about 13, 15 years old. And we all moved to Orlando when I was about 3 years old. And my parents both had small businesses. They both worked 7 days a week and extremely hardworking. But it's funny because there wasn't that many Hispanic people in Orlando when we first moved here. And all the Hispanics tended to stick together. And my father, he's always been very social. I think I get that from him. I never met a stranger. My dad's never met a stranger. And for whatever reason, people tended to gravitate to my dad to ask him questions about, where could they get this? Where could they get that? Where did they go for these type of services? And I would see that. And that to me translated as something as he provided that type of service. And it made me feel that I wanted something like that. And my equivalent was in the justice system. I wanted to provide, I wanted to be in the law, and I wanted to be the person where people came to with their problems and be able to resolve that. And so from a pretty young age, I want to say maybe 4 or 5 years old, I felt that I wanted to be in public service and I wanted to serve as a judge. And the minute that I told my father that I wanted to serve as a judge, I felt like that became his American dream. So he was working hard so that he can get me to that platform. My dad and my mom never graduated from high school, but he sure did work those 7 days a week and whatever he could do to get me through high school, college, and law school so that I could do that.
And you're a proud Gator, right?
Yes, yes. Go Gator. You can't see this. Go Gator. I'm a double Gator, and my daughters are now at the University of Florida now too. So I bleed orange and blue.
So tell me a little bit about, so Laurent certainly doesn't sound Hispanic.
And neither does my maiden name.
Tell me about your maiden last name.
So my father's great grandfather during the German War, they are from Germany. So the Dominican Republic was one of the only country I think that opened its doors to the Jewish when they were trying to escape Hitler. And so the Jewish were able to come to the Dominican Republic, and my great grandparents were from a city in Germany called Then, Thenn. But in the Spanish countries, they don't have the double N. So I grew up with my last name being Then, as Latina as I am. And so as a young child, I wanted to be, Hernandez, Martinez, Rivera, whatever it was, but I was Then. And when I got married, I became Laurent, which is French, but it's a beautiful last name. So I'm Gisela Laurent, and I embrace it, but I never had the opportunity to have a Latina last name.
But you know what? I think that's part of the beauty of our melting pot, right? It's really, you can't really even tell so much of someone's background just based on their last name, because we just have a huge melting pot group of diverse communities that come together either by marriage or, like you explained, your dad, your dad's family came from Germany and ended up in the Dominican Republic out of all places.
Oh yeah, and they say that your last name is either location or vocation. So my last name is location because I came from the city of Then, and I love the little history that I have.
No, that's great, and it must be a very proud moment for your parents to see all their hard work and see you accomplish your dream of becoming a judge and also providing public service. And I understand this is not your first public service job, because you started in public service as a public defender. Yes. So it's really been in your blood since the inception of your legal career. And then you had a very successful private practice. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, ultimately, when I was in law school, I was a single mom, and I had to ultimately we have to make money. So I knew that I needed to develop my trial skills, and I wanted to serve as a public defender. And also, I had humble beginnings. So I thought that the best thing to do was to start as a public defender. But I also had to take care of my daughters. And so when I went into private practice and just growing up in this area, and, my dad knew every Latino, I think, in Orange County. And so I think my dad was my best marketer, because he would bring me all my clients, and so I didn't ever have to make any marketing, because every day I think my dad would call me, or someone would call me like, your dad referred me to you, or he'd walk somebody into my door. And so I was always very, very busy. And, like I told you, Orange County and Osceola have such a strong Hispanic market, and we didn't have as many strong female Hispanic attorneys out there. And so I think before you knew it, everybody wanted somebody who could speak to them in their language. And so I was always very, very busy, and throughout my practice.
And the criminal, going into criminal private practice, criminal defense private practice seemed to be a natural extension of having worked at the public defender's office. But I understand you also went into family law as a result of who?
My dad.
Your dad, right? So
yes.
Talk a little bit about that, and don't leave out the part that no matter how old, he's still trying to tell you.
Oh, yes. Well, so, unfortunately, when I was 13, my parents got divorced. And so when I was in law school, I knew I didn't want to do divorces. I didn't want to have even the part, where the children get put in the middle of all that stuff. And I didn't like the emotion of it. And so when my dad asked me to represent one of his friends for a criminal case, it started out as being just an aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, which was a result of someone, a friend of my dad, who had found out that his wife was cheating on him. And so, he had bought a vehicle for her, and then he decided to destroy the vehicle. And, the vehicle was in his name, so he could do that if he wanted to. And I thought, this is an easy case, not a problem. But then when he destroyed the vehicle and the law enforcement had come out to speak to him and nothing was going to happen, the wife had gotten mad, and she said, oh, well, by the way, he chased me with a machete too. And so at that point, the husband got mad, And now he wants to divorce and he wanted to have her deported, and everything was, spiraling out of control. So I was like, okay, well, I will defend you on the criminal case. We were able to defeat that. And now he wants to get a divorce. And so I'm like, well, I'm so sorry about that. I cannot represent you on the divorce. I don't do those kind of cases, but I'll gladly refer you to somebody else. So he was, begging me to do it. I said no. And so what he did was he went to go talk to my father. And then my dad came to me and said, you have to take this case. You have to represent him. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And my dad just kept on insisting until I finally had to do it. And I had to then learn family law. And then I started learning family law. And then to make things worse, then the guy kept on referring me family law cases. I'm like, listen, you people, like, I'm not doing family law, but they would send me child support cases. They would send me paternity cases. Between the two of them, my dad would be telling me, please take this case. You have to help this person. And my dad, I was like, oh my goodness. So yes, my dad would bring me everybody, ask me to help them. And they all knew that if I said no, then just ask Jose's daughter, she'll do it. And I couldn't say no to my dad.
So, and therein you were able to convert that love and desire, albeit sometimes reluctantly, maybe because of the topic, right, into a very successful legal career, and which helped you kind of be a stepping stone for where you are today.
Oh yes, it's funny because as much as people will kick and scream about not wanting to do family law, when you have children, family law seems to be the more flexible practice. And by the time I wrapped things up, I was 80% a family law practitioner and 20% criminal. So.
And, one of the questions I was going to ask you was, what obstacles do you feel that you had to overcome as a Hispanic female lawyer? But I almost think that based on your story, it's really, it was an attribute that helped you kind of differentiate yourself from other lawyers in the market, right? Because you could provide this ability to speak Spanish, to communicate with your clients, and it helped you tremendously.
No, I'll tell you this, I've mentored a lot of female Hispanic attorneys, and I have one of my best friends now that when I first met her, she was, a young lawyer, and she was working for it's one thing to be working for like a major firm, but when you're going to be working for a sole practitioner, it's a different thing. And I saw her go out, and she went to go work for a sole practitioner. I said, what are you doing? Because she had gone to work for somebody that I just felt like it wasn't a fit. And I said, I questioned why she was doing that, because I said, if you're going to do that, you might as well just be on your own, because they need you more than you need them. And she was looking at me. She's like, no. I'm like, what are they giving you? Nothing, because you're the bilingual attorney. You're the one that's bringing in the business. They're not offering anything to you. And it only took 2 months for her to realize exactly what I was saying. And then now she has a very successful practice, because I think that sometimes we're just so scared of not being able to do it. And the reality is that as female women, Latina women, we're strong, we're resilient, we have visions and we have determinations. And once we get past our own fears, the market's there for us. The clients are there for us. And I had a very successful practice and my friend, and she also did. And it's just getting beside your own fear. And I think that sometimes people, because of their fear, they let people utilize them, but the market is so strong.
And I think even, you say the market's strong, but going back to like the theme of how you started practicing law and how you got involved, which was service. You wanted to emulate your dad, being able to help others. The need is there.
Yes.
The need for, the Hispanic population. And it's not that they can't speak English, because many of them can. But when we get into the legalese and the legal terms, they just feel more comfortable being able to sometimes communicate with somebody who can translate it into their, into their initial language. And it's great that you were able to not only live that through your experience, but that you're conveying that to younger lawyers to keep that inspiration of service to the community as a whole, and including the Hispanic community.
This year, I had the chance to swear in virtually and in person, I want to say 6 Latinas into the Florida bar. And I love that. I love that.
So
because they look for me because I'm, one of 2. And I don't know how many Letty has done, but I'm one of 2, Latina judges here, and they want to be sworn in by a female Hispanic judge because they identify with that. And it's something that I couldn't do when I was becoming a judge, an attorney, because that didn't exist. And so it's just such a blessing.
It is hard as I sit here to think that, March 2021 in a county where you have 60% and 40% Hispanic population, that we really only have 4 Hispanic judges, 2 females, 2 males, and 2 of which have been really appointed in the very near future. I mean, it wasn't long ago. So kudos to you for doing that and opening hopefully what'll be a very successful path for other qualified Hispanic candidates in the future.
Yes. Thank you.
So tell me, I know you mentioned 2 girls. I think you have 4.
Yes.
Which means both of your hands are outnumbered. I have 2, so I can still grab one and one. I know they're a bunch older. But tell me a little bit about life-work balance. And you alluded to family law giving you a little bit of more flexibility, but 4 is a good number.
I know. Well, luckily for me, I have like 2 lives, I think, because it was very hard in my younger life. But I think, when you're younger, you just go with the flow. You're just much more easier to flow. I was 22 when I had my first baby. And I just roll with the punches. And then I was a single mom for a long time. And I had my other 2 later in life. And my husband is just phenomenal. And we have support, like my parents help, and I have a full-time nanny. And so I think I really am very, very blessed to have the support system that I have. And so my work-life balance is just very, very smooth. I love my job. I'm very involved in the community. And so on the days that I have events in the community, either my husband will have the girls, or my mom will be with the girls, or the nanny will be with the girls. My older girls are in college, so they don't really depend on me. And then on the weekends, I truly do, dedicate it to my family. So that's the blessing of, when you're a judge, like you really do have the weekends to be with yourself. If I'm in a major trial, then maybe I will do some work on the Sunday evening. But at that point, I've already put the girls to bed, or I'll go on the back. We have the pool and the kids are playing in the pool, and I'll have something that I'm reading. So I do, I love life. We have a big Latino family, and we do get a lot of gatherings. And I don't know, I think I do good at multitasking and enjoying life, enjoying family, and calling on help from everybody.
Well, and that's great. And I think just hearing about you and your success, and your girls are all, I think you said they were also Gators. I mean, clearly you're doing it all. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And then the last topic, what's your message for the younger lawyers? And we can say Hispanic lawyers, but I think lawyers as a whole. What is your message to the young female lawyers?
If I could turn back from the beginning, I think, first of all, enjoy what you're doing. We have such a beautiful profession, but document it. I can't imagine, when I first started trying to apply for a judge, I know I've done so many things. I just couldn't remember everything because we're just so on the go. But I started just keeping a flash drive on myself. And I think that, do it, because we find it so hard to brag about ourselves. And it's hard because you do so much. But when you do these applications, they ask you a lot of details. And the best way to be able to do that is to start now documenting the things that you do. And that's not bad. If you go speak somewhere, put it in your little flash drive. If you make a presentation, record it, get a copy, put it in your flash drive. If you write something, put it in your flash drive. Have it all in one flash drive. You never know what's going to happen. You may not have an ambition now to be a judge, and maybe one day that'll change. Maybe somebody will invite you to apply to be a federal judge. You don't know. And then they're going to ask you for all that stuff. So I think, sky's the limit of what you can do, but when the time comes, you want to be prepared and ready. So just document what you've been doing, because you're worth it, and you're amazing. And when the time comes, it's just hard to brag on yourself, and you'll be surprised of all the things that you do, because we just do it. We, as women, we just do it, and we don't even think twice about it.
And what about reaching out? Because sometimes you got to make that cold call and
Oh my
say,
goodness.
hi, I'm Gisela, Laurent, and I'm putting my name in for county court, or I'm running. I need your support. I mean, you don't know that person, and you don't have that 6-degree connection to that person, right?
The best advice a friend of mine gave me that, now I tell the people is, if your child was sick or dying, like, would you have a problem calling somebody to ask for help? No. So when you need the help, you're just as important, and so I'll admit that when I had to go through the appointment process, sometimes I was shy to say, I'm the kind of person that I'm normally the helper, and I have no problem helping a stranger, but I have a problem asking somebody to help me. But I had to get past that, and I would meet somebody who I didn't know, and then they would tell me, I'm going to connect you to this other person who I equally didn't know. And I had to just say, you know what? This is important to me. So I'm going to call this third connected person. I have no clue who they are. And I'm going to talk to them like I've known them my whole life. And I'm going to ask them to help me. And I just had to do it. I just had to do it. And
they help, right? It's
yes,
surprisingly how they'll listen, and people will take the time to really assist you.
and people actually feel good about helping others, just like I felt good about helping others. And so you have to give them that opportunity.
It sounds like you have paid it forward many a times, your young age, including your dad,
Yes.
have paid it forward, that it was, it's only fair that others have paid it forward towards you too. And I think it's, I don't think we get through law school on our own. I don't think we get anywhere, make success, become successful practicing lawyers, members of the bar on our own. We all have a little bit of help from everybody, and it seems like you've helped plenty. And I just want you to know that the Broward County Bar Association is your friend. We're here. We're a little bit distant, but not really. We're from a couple hours away, but now through the virtual world, we're all connected, and you have friends in all of us that you can count on us for anything you need. And we look forward to continue to see your career grow, and to be there right with you with any good news and progression in your career. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Catalina. I really appreciate it. I love all of you there. I know I've met you on this journey. I met Broward on this journey, and so many people in Broward. I love South Florida, all of you there. And I do look forward to also growing this relationship with you guys and seeing you in this virtually, and coming down to visit you guys.
Yep. Well, welcome here. We'll have to find a good restaurant to take you to, and then,
yes,
you can reciprocate when we go up there
yes,
and show us the good place. We'll wish you a very good afternoon. And again, thank you for joining us, and always welcome at the Broward County Bar Association.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks.